And is it ever weird when you're backing up a bass player on Jules Holland? Because I saw that you played with Paul McCartney and Sting, and
Mm.
was that a strange experience? Thinking, what will he think of my bass playing? Considering, and they're both probably idols of yours as well. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean, I've a great admiration for them both. But the key thing is, first of all, in my experience, I played with Sting a few times. I played with Paul McCartney a few times, and on all the occasions, they've been so nice. They've been really fun, kind, considerate sort of people, and that's a great start for me.
mm,
If you're a decent human being, I'm much more impressed if you're a decent human being than I am about your musicality. And so yeah, with Sting, he did the very first Hootenanny, the very first one in '93. And so yeah, he was playing bass guitar, and I think his album at the time, which is my favorite Sting album, is Ten Sumner's Tales. And so I thought to myself, okay, so yeah, he's on bass, so I'm not needed here, so I'll just go and have a sit. And I was playing double bass, and I'm just have a sit down. And he saw me walking away, and he came over. He said, "No, no, no." He said, "Where you going? Where you going?" I said, "Well, you're gonna." He said, "No." He said, "I want us both to play." He said, "I want us both to do it." And we did "Walking on the Moon," the Police song, and he wanted to do one of the tracks from his album, which I think was called "Still Know Nothing About Me," which is on YouTube. And he said, "Look, yeah, I'm going to be playing bass guitar on both of them." He said, "But the fact you're playing acoustic bass, and bearing in mind he plays double bass as well, he's a big fan of the instrument."
mm.
He said, "Just let's just play together. Why not? Why shouldn't we have two bass players?" He said, "I want you to stay, and I want you to enjoy it." So I thought that was really sweet of him,
That's cool. Yeah.
because otherwise I'd have had to go and sit in the corner, and everyone else would have got to play with Sting, and I'd be there kind of, "Oh,
You could
thanks."
say I got to watch Sting once from the side of the stage.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And actually, it reminded me of a story when I was doing this Mingus piece for Bass Player magazine. Um, it reminded me of a story when we supported Sting. The Jules Holland Band supported Sting on a European tour in the early '90s, and back then I used to do a big double bass solo. I literally was brought to the front of the stage, or I walked to the front of the stage, and it was an open solo, like nobody else was playing, and I could just play anything I wanted to, so I started off like just playing very freely.
Mm.
There was no time or anything like that, playing very free, whatever I wanted to do, and then I would start the riff to the following song, and the band would join in. But I got to be as flamboyant as I wanted to be. Now, after that particularly one gig, I'm coming off stage, and Sting had been there watching the whole thing. And he came up to me, he gave me a big hug, and he said, "Dave, it's like, I love your playing, I loved your solo." He said, "Man," he said, "you remind me of Charles Mingus." And I thought to
Nice.
myself, wow, I mean, I was happy with just the hug.
Mm.
I'd have been done there. But he said, "I love you playing, I love the solo you did." But yeah, when he said, "You remind me of," and because the thing is, Mingus for me is a big influence. He hasn't influenced a lot of bass players. He's influenced a lot of composers,
Yeah.
but not many, because he's very hard to quantify, Charles Mingus, because he was such a free player, and he had virtuosic technique, but he's not as easy to study as, say, Ray Brown or Ron Carter. He's very hard to
Mm.
quantify, but I was definitely channeling him, and it was nice that Sting noticed that. So yeah, so Sting was very happy for me to play bass. Now, when the first time I met Paul McCartney was in the recording studio, and he was playing mandolin, so I had to play bass. So that was fine. But then he did the Hootenanny TV show, and he did a duet with Kylie, and he was playing mandolin on that. So I was definitely needed on
Mm.
upright. But then he wanted to do "Got to Get You Into My Life," but he wanted to play bass guitar on that. So again, I thought to myself, okay, I'm not needed here. So I went again, same as the thing with Sting. I went to walk away, and Paul said, "No, no, no, where are you going? Where are you going?" And I said, "Well," he said, "No, no, I want you to play as well." He said, "And I need you to play. I need you to be there." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because we're both going to be playing the same thing." He said, "Yeah, there's always one bit of this song, and I'm never quite sure where it is in the song." He said, "I always get a little bit confused." So he said, he said, "So I'm going to look at you for the cue, so
Mm.
you can tell me where." And I said,
No
"Okay."
pressure.
I thought I was a little surprised, considering they wrote it, sort of thing. But anyway, sure enough, we did the song, and we you know, he's playing, I'm playing upright, and the video is out there. It's on YouTube, and you can see the moment. It's towards the end of the song, and we're all playing, and he turns round to look at me, and I give him the nod, and I think he does this. I think he like a tip of the hat or something like that, or he puts his thumb up, and then he goes back to playing. But it's so funny how that moment is captured.
That's class.
In that got to get into my life, you know. So, but yeah, so he was. I mean, both of them were lovely and charming. Now, interestingly, I have played with other bass players, but these were on Jules's radio show. So what's happened here is, and these people they wanted to play bass just them. Okay, so we Jack Bruce came on there many years ago. He played bass. We had Tony Visconti came on there, who predominantly is a bass player, but he's obviously best known as a producer. We had I think Sheryl Crow. We had Susie Quattro, Mike Rutherford. So all these people were guests on Jules' show, but they all wanted to play bass. So I just said, and we had like a little horn section. We had 2 saxophone horn section and the rhythm section. So I just said to Jules, I said, "Look, are you okay if I play trombone in the horn section?"
Yeah,
you know?
Class.
And he said, "Yeah, sure." You know, so with all of those latter bass players, I got to play trombone with them.
So you can still tick the box. I played with
yeah.
Susie
So exactly. So I can still say that, you know. So.